guys, I'm Jazz, and I am going to be sharing the tragic boarding experience I recently endured. My intent of sharing this is to prevent other families going through what my partner and I experienced. I'm not here to bash them. I'm just here to share my story and hopefully spread awareness, as we don't want anybody to encounter what we did. We brought our two healthy bunnies, Onyx and Mochi, to the lodge in New Tampa on the 24th, where they were supposed to stay until the 1st, where we thought that they would be safe, of course, and they would update us throughout the whole duration of their stay of our trip. But obviously, as you see, that something didn't go right there. Instead, we were left with two updates, one being on the 26th, which included 8 photos of them in and outside of the hutch. That information will be important for later. You'll see, just keep that in mind. And then on the 30th, where we received a text that lacked urgency. Following our response from that text, we received the heartbreaking news that Mochi had passed away. With that announcement, there was still no update on Onyx, nothing to be heard on him, so we were confused to what was going on. We had to instruct them, though, what to do, as there was no guidance or explanation of what occurred, besides he greeted us last night. We told them to preserve Mochi so we could take him home properly, and of course, contact the emergency contact if you haven't already, which you should have, because we told you. We were contacted at 8:47 a.m. where they said that he was found upon arrival to the resort. The establishment opens at 7 a.m. A specific time was never given, by the way, of the hour he was found or discovered. So again, if they open at 7 a.m., I'm sure they come in at 6 a.m. or so to prepare for the day. So I'm still really confused as to why was there a delay or no answer. The emergency contact wasn't contacted until 10:42 a.m. 10:42 a.m. Mind you, they told us at 8:47 a.m. and they found him upon arrival. So we reached out to our emergency contact, where they had to pick up Mochi's body, who was in a used, crusty Amazon box. I'll put a picture. And then Onyx, who was discharged ill, where he appeared to have a head tilt and was showing sad signs of discomfort. Meanwhile, the boarding facility said that he was fine. And please forgive me if I'm stuttering or anything. I'm not used to it. Upon my partner's arrival and I's home, we noticed that Onyx was completely lethargic, where we had to take him to the vet. We were sent home with critical care and a follow-up on Tuesday. Of course, we were more than welcome to come back in case of an emergency. During all of this, I am still looking up a necropsy for Mochi and cremation services for Mochi as well. As I'm trying to keep this together, I'm trying to still help Onyx fight through this all. Onyx seemed to try and isolate himself and then run to us, especially in the last hour of 11. That's where it really started. We noticed his head tilt had worsened, and we had been keeping an active on him all day. So we noticed that worsened immediately. We were rushing so we could go ahead and get him back to the ER, where he took his last gasping and quiet cries on the couch at 11:55 p.m. September 1st, before we could get him in the carrier for safety, because we didn't want him to jump out or anything if he was in pain from our hands. With all this going on, we're still unable to really grieve to make sense of the lack of information from this facility. So it's definitely been a lot, hence it's the 13th today. But still searching for necropsies and cremation services at this time. It's time for me to actually go into the establishment, as no one was going to bother to reach out to us under what happened under their care. Again, lack of updates, communication, urgency is very alarming and unacceptable for a care facility. That's their job. But I enter the lodge, where I immediately demand to speak to whoever's responsible for all of this, and who is and isn't during their stay, as it's now the 2nd, and no one has bothered to shed any light on what was the situation here. The receptionist then brings the lead receptionist where I began to question her. What the hell happened the 24th through the 30th? Why did we not get our first update on the 24th as we were supposed to, so we could see if they were doing okay there? Why were there no updates provided during their stay, except the 26th? Why was there a lack of urgency in that text message? Why did we still not hear anything about Onyx, where he was then released, in poor conditions? And where was their month worth of food that we bought to the establishment? Where'd it go? Hello? During these questions, I'm getting blank stares and poor answers. Answers such as they stayed in the hutch the whole time. The photos show them in and out. You only provided a quarter of food, referring that the food was finished. If that statement was true, even remotely, again, why were we not contacted regarding their food being finished? It's your job to contact the owner or anything if their diet or anything is finished or their food is done. And then my most favorite answer is, you don't want to believe me. I don't know why on earth somebody would say that after your two animals passed away from this establishment. Why would I believe you when you guys have failed to do nearly everything in this situation? Crickets from them. I share though, you do realize if you fed them all of that food, it could have killed them. I told her to go look for the food and she came back empty-handed. It's gone, by the way. But I begin to wrap this demand up for answers I've been here for a while now, about 10 minutes or so, and there was still no solution or answers given. I'm tired, I'm upset, I'm heartbroken, and I'm trying to be cordial still throughout this. So to summarize, what I was told is that they stayed in their hutch the whole time. That's not true because the 8 photos provided showed them in and out of the hutch. I know that might not be a big deal, but this shows dishonesty and not a clear story or timeline on their part. Obviously, whoever was watching them doesn't know. They said they always had hay. I had to question, was there water as well or what? Because I can't assume, because obviously nothing makes sense here. She pauses where she responds with, yes. I don't know why there was a pause. I shake my head and I ask, so what's the solution here? Cricket. I say, okay, well, I'm not done here. I share with them, you all need to do better. All these inconsistencies and poor communications and service and lack of updates is beyond unacceptable. If you can't care for exotics, then be honest. Rabbits are very telling. Their body language is pretty simple to read. So I don't understand what was the error here. I understand that rabbits can pass away and such like that, but not both healthy boys. I really expected to get more out of them, but I guess not. But they need to take exotics away for the sake of other families. We take Onyx and Mochi to the location where the cremation services will be done and a necropsy on Onyx, which I hated the thought of that because I want my little boy to be put to rest, but I needed answers. So the doctor and receptionist at that place were incredibly helpful and they showed so much concern and lots of love there. Unlike the lodge we had them at, my partner and I left the cremation place where we receive a call from the doctor who's performing the necropsy on Onyx. As I'm pulling apart, she shares it appears that he was overfed from the boarding resort, as his stomach was filled with food. It was also noted that he had a head tilt as well. However, that would be an extra expense to get that tested, and we had to decline due to that was enough answers and lack of funds, unfortunately. I start thinking the missing bag of food that I asked about. Did they just throw all the pellets in there, hoping that that would be okay for them, they'll be okay, as they were only to be given 1/4 a cup a day? And if you need to know what that looks like, it's kind of almost like a small handful a day. Why is there no explanation regarding their missing food, their routine, just everything? This all feels way too negligent for me and my partner. I am far too exhausted, but it is now the 3rd, where I reach out yet again via email, this time at 2:22 p.m., sharing the poor services and the way this tragedy was handled was beyond unacceptable. And I want answers. We need answers. It seems like all of this was just trying to be disregarded. So I go ahead and I attached and request that they pay for the ER bill, the necropsy, and their cremation services, as they're responsible for this and we are still in the dark to all of this. I express, if this request is denied, I will share this with the media. Hi, here we are. We just want to mourn and leave this at rest. it's heartbreaking that they both passed away, but the fact there's no answers is ridiculous. I received a response where I'm beyond disappointed. Only in sentences of the email, the owner and the owner, manager, Katie, whoever, responds with, they contacted my partner's managers before they reached out to our emergency contacts. Why on earth would you not follow our verbal and written instructions that were left for you? I don't know what they were thinking. We gave you contacts who to contact. We both gave you both of our contact information. So there's 2 sets of contact information, both owners. The emergency contact and the vet in case of anything, whether do they drink tap water or out of a Brita. They drink out of a Brita. But the statement she shared following that was that they stated you would not be able to receive a call, which is why we did not attempt to call. So you send a very non-urgent text message and not try to call or text any of the other contacts that were provided? That's not okay. Nonsense. It doesn't make sense. Backstory about that, by the way, my partner used to work at a sister company. Has nothing to do with them at all. I'm not even going to bring their name up because they have nothing to do with this. But again, my partner's managers has nothing to do with Mochi and Onyx. Nothing. We had to instruct, again, the boarding facility what to do. We already left these instructions and care instructions, by the way. The rest of the email is basically CYA. It didn't provide any valid answers or reasoning as to why we were left in the dark during their stay and where's their food. Cricket. In the same email that they shared, their legal team will pay the cost, but an agreement will have to be signed first. I already rolled my eyes when I heard that. I knew that was coming. I respond sharing the situation was still unjustified and reminding them of Onyx was sick. Upon discharge from their company, I attached photos, which I will show that here. I'll edit the best I can. I don't really know how to edit. I've never done this before. But again, everything from the lie of them being they were always in the hutch to the poor due diligence of Mochi's death has just been baffling. I express if this agreement is unreasonable, I will be sharing this situation along with evidence with every platform that I can because I don't want anybody going through this. Here I am. I've shared this on other media platforms. I finally made it to TikTok, sadly. On the 4th, my partner only receives the agreement, even though I've been the voice for the boys, as she's been alongside me because it's been really hard on both of us. But I'm very angry. I'd only be able to see the agreement only after she signed, as we were not sent a copy to review or anything. Hell no, that's already a red flag. We opened hers where we were completely disgusted with the terms. To summarize that, it's basically they aren't taking no accountability or liability despite everything I just shared. Also, by the way, there was no contracts, or liability signed from them at all. So you are liable. It happened all under your roof. We wouldn't be able to talk to any third parties about this tragic experience, let alone what happened. So just my Benny's magically died and I wouldn't be able to talk about it. Hello. Mind you, they still haven't responded to my last email where they tried to answer themselves. They just blindly sent over this agreement, didn't even introduce themselves, what it will be in it, nothing. So I refuse to sign this as these were my kids. This is my business. The truth can't just be silenced, and people deserve to know if their fur babies and their family are at risk. Paying just the $991 and some change is really? Are you kidding me? But with all this being said, please be aware of the lodge. I don't want anyone to encounter what we did. Since sharing this experience on other platforms like Facebook and such, others have come forward saying they've also had really terrible experiences, and I'll try to put that in again as well. Again, I don't really know how to edit, but on top of those experiences, there's Yelp reviews, BBB complaints, and bad reviews under their 1 stars where you can read those as well. But I just wanted to thank you guys for listening to my story. I hope you share, get something out of it. Please be kind to me and my family, as this has been heartbreaking, and this is not anything we ever thought we'd go through. But we did everything we can and could, and here we are. So, thank you.